Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at Steel, and we'll be looking at his weapon, his movement and his powers. He's obviously flight, and he uses a two-handed, massive two-handed hammer, which is just the same as the one that you'd use for your normal character. Does exactly the same sort of combos and everything. So yeah, that's his weapon and his movement. Actually, he's very fast that move. A lot faster than it used to be. That used to be so slow, that move. But it's a lot faster now. Right, okay. So first power is Hammer Drop. Damages enemies and knocks them down with a mighty hammer smash. So there you go. So it's a melee ranged attack. So if you're that far away, you aren't going to do any damage with that power. So you've got to be in close. It's probably going to be a good power to use while you're doing your combos and stuff if you're going to get up close. So that's the first power. Let's get the second power. Atom Splitter. Pulses electricity from your hammer into nearby enemies to deal damage, stun and knock them down. So there you go. So you don't have to be super close to your opponents. Let's just test how far that is. It's not really like a long ranged attack, but you don't have to be like here in this area right up close. You can be, I think it's roughly about here, and it will hit all the targets in that area as well. So any enemies around you, it's going to take them out. So good for both Legends PvP and PvE. It used to be a really overpowered power when Steel first came out. That power used to be so overpowered it was you couldn't break out and things, and it did a lot more damage than that. What's the damage numbers now? It used to go, like, the numbers used to tick so fast, and they were all high numbers. So like under 200. I'm sure it was something like between 200 and 300, and it was like a lot faster than that, and I think there was probably about double the hits. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sure there was more than 6, but I'm not sure. It might have been 6, but a bit faster, and definitely a lot, quite a bit higher than that. Maybe even nearly double that amount. So you could pretty much take them from full health nearly down to like below the 35% thing. So it was quite overpowered, and it would stun everybody in the area and everything, and it was just complete mess of a power, and everyone just wanted to be that person. And that was when certain legends like Steel and Superman and that were ones you had to buy off the marketplace.
Life support control enabled.
Hammerang.
Ham station control
Frozen electrically charged hammer to knock down enemies and deal damage over time.
enabled.
So this will be, don't have to be super close, it can be quite ranged, and it's doing a few ticks of damage.
I don't think so.
You can still use it up close. It's just, you know, you can use it at melee range like this from here, but probably the best way to use it is you know, ranged. So in Legends PvE, this is quite a good power to use, because you can be doing this from range, you know, this as well, and then add that in as well. So you don't, so Steel's not necessarily a sort of a tank kind of type legend. You haven't got to be super close range to use all these powers with him. a lot of people thought that was going to be the case with him because of him being two-handed and that he'd be like one of those kind of characters where he'd have to always be up close, but it's not necessarily with him. Big swing. Launches a fierce hammer leap to close in on and knock down enemies. So you can use it from range. Like say a start of a battle, you're kind of on your way and you spot the enemies in the distance. Use that to get in close, and then you can start using all these other powers. You know. And then, you know, if there's a boss or whatever, or you're taking quite a bit of damage, just get out of there. You know, use your range attacks or block or whatever to get your health back. Then start again.
Life support control mode enabled. Terrarium control mode enabled.
So it's a nice power just to get in close if you don't want to just hold square, because that does 228. Or using that power, you're doing a little bit more. So you might as well use it. Right, next power is Steelworks Proximity Mine. Deploy a mine that explodes on enemy contact to cause damage over time. So this is a really good power for protecting nodes. You can just place them around your node or anywhere you need to defend, or even, you know, if you want to be kind of that kind of person, you could go outside the villain's base, maybe place them all around the place there if you want to.
Life support control node
The cooldown's not super fast, but it's not that slow either compared to some people's powers that are like this, like Two Faces with the barrel. So it's quite quick, but it's not instant, obviously. But you know, place them down. I mean, obviously, like, you know, they're not invisible, so they can be seen by the opponent. So like, I'm looking at Harley now, what she can see, and she can see all three of those mines. But if you was trying to put them in a node and defend that node, and you put them on the outer bit, then she's still got to go inside there to imagine that's a node now, and she's like, I need to catch that node, so I've got to get in there. What do I do? And there you go. You get hit and you're taking a little bit of damage. I mean, it's not massive amounts of damage, but I mean, in a way it's almost free damage, because if you're at a node and you've just taken down an enemy, you can place these little mines, and they don't use a whole lot of power, and if you're not getting attacked, see how quick I'm getting the power back, and it's not using hardly anything. So you know, it's almost free damage. You know, you're the person protecting a node in something like Ace Chemicals, or even something like Arkham Asylum, where you're taking you know, you're taking them little nodes, and you don't have to stay there and protect them, you're just taking them over. Once you've done that, you can start placing these around, then go to the next place to capture. But obviously in things like Ace Chemicals, you have to stay in them nodes to keep them captured. So once you've done that, see, like, I'm at full power again, and then Harley comes back after being taken out, and she gets hit, and I can carry on attacking. You know, she's got no option. She can stay ranged, but eventually she's got to kind of come in close, and you know, it's all just kind of free damage. I mean, in sort of Legends PvE alerts, it's not always going to be that useful. You know, sometimes it might be handy to put them down around you, just in case anyone lunges at you, any ads or anyone lunges at you, or any bosses. So if you're in a boss fight, so imagine Harley's a boss now, and I'm doing my ranged attacks, and then I place these every now and again, and I keep them there, and then all of a sudden I get the aggro, and she lunges at me. She takes some damage. So yeah, so that's the only time I can see that really being useful in the Legends PvE. But in Legends PvP, it comes in really handy for nodes and stuff. And the last power is Prototype Protective Barrier. Deploys a metal shield that blocks enemy strikes. So this is just like any other shield, but it looks a little bit different.
On station
Instead of
control
the
node
sort of bubble
enabled.
effect that goes around you with different kinds of animations and
control
effects,
mode
this is a
enabled.
completely different kind of shield. And I say this in pretty much every video that I do, that characters have shields. They are really handy to use in anything really, in Legends PvP and PvE, in every single situation in a way. Like when you're in a boss fight and you've lunged in and you need to get away, you can use your shield to get away. Then once it wears off, you should be out of distance and you should be able to block by then. You know, things like that. Or in Legends PvP, it's a one-on-one fight, both of you are very low on health, it's really close, and Harley's like kicking me there, hitting me, and we're both just whacking each other, and our health's really low, and it's like, who's gonna win? And I pop the shield, and she's hitting me, and I'm not taking no damage, and we're both hitting each other now, and for that couple of seconds all my hits are hitting her, but her hits are not hitting me at all. So that can be the difference between you know, me being knocked out or her being knocked out. Or you needing to hold on to a node just for that 1 or 2 seconds for another teammate to get over. You just pop the shield, and then once that's gone, block. Then once you get knocked out of that, you know, the breakout trinket or drink cola, you know, all them things, they help just to keep you going for that extra couple of seconds. And that can be the difference between you getting knocked out, them getting knocked out, them capturing the node, you keeping the node until someone comes and helps you out. So that's Steel's powers. Hope that helped, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.